is because when you lock and cock and you build pressure, if you only got at 10%, that's all the pump's going to do. So it's only going to build up to 100 bar. You won't give us our true reading. That's why you're going to back it all the way out.
That's when you're testing it.
Okay. Right. Usually when I'm priming out, I usually screw it all the way out and turn full 2 turns in. Full 2. 1, 2.
When you're what?
When I'm
priming
out.
The beginning, you know, when you put your primer?
Your primer. 2.
Right. Because in theory, if you can think about this, the hose is round. So as the concrete's pushing, the water's swishing back and forth. Yeah. If you go too slow, there's nothing up on top lubricating. You go too fast, it'll jump over the water. And that doesn't do you no good. No. Right. So you want to use an even speed. It's steadily pushing the water, and the water's coating the hose as it's going through. Okay. In theory. Okay. So you'll know if you're too slow and you plug up 50 feet. Shit, I know what I did wrong. You know what I mean? And if you go too fast, you'll make it about 150 and you'll plug up. And then you'll see when you shake it out, no water will come out, just concrete. You're like, where'd all my water go? Yeah. You went too fast.
And you said how much prime do you put? Like 5 gallons? Or how much did you say?
One bag accommodates 5 gallons.
5 gallons.
Right. So I pour in one bag and put in mix up 5 gallons.
Yo ahora te muestro una de las cajas. Si se quieren llevar una, pueden llevar una de las mías, no hay problema.
And the bag has a directions on it. Okay. And if you're on a big job or something and they stop you at OSHA or something, the MDS sheet is on the bag. Okay. In the bag. Yeah. Biodegradable. Good stuff. Better than oil or diesel. Okay. So you got the flow control, and then you got the panel array. So you got for your oil. This is if you lose pressure.
Flashes.
It stays on steady. Stays on steady. You got your key switch, your main pressure, then your arrow meter. Okay. And then you got puff off and on.
Off and on.
Electronically, correct. So if the switch had gone bad, the alternator had gone out, somebody stole your battery. You spin your truck around, put jumper cables on. Well, you can't leave your truck there. You can theoretically take the jumper cables off, and then manually, if you push this button in, it'll be in forward or reverse. So if you leave it in forward and push this button, it'll start pumping. If you put it in reverse and push this button, it'll start pumping. So you don't need per se electronics. Okay. If the electricity had gone bad, manually you can start and stop the pump.
Eso es manualmente para empezar y parar la pompa. Sí, como la electricidad paró de jalar, como estaba puchando ese botón, pompea esto en reversa para adelante. O sea, puchando eso. Como una emergencia, ¿no?
If you're on the job, the alternator goes bad, battery coughs up, falls off, and burns up, whatever. You can still get out of the job. You can pump that 10 yards off and say, listen, we can't pump more today. Let me get this 10 yards, and then I go home and find another alternator. Okay. The alternator bracket got loose, and the alternator fell off. It doesn't down you for the job. You don't lose $1,000. That's what it's all about. Okay. Yeah. Because every back charge, you're eating it. You know what I mean? So that's the name of the game. That's why I'm saying you check before you leave the job. So when you get to the job, the next job,
make sure everything's going right.
You don't, because you're gonna recognize it just when that first truck starts discharging. Hold on, guys. It's too late. Come on. Yeah. So the finishers, how they are. They're sit back there. Come on, pump man, what are you gonna do for me? You do something. I don't. It's all your fault. Trust me.
It's always gonna be your fault.
Just like when you're married, it's all your fault. I don't care what you did yesterday. Today is your fault. So you got your flow control. You got your panel, oil, low part of the tank to dump. Then we'll work on to the agitator. You got forward, neutral, reverse. This is a remixer in the hopper.
This matters if it goes forward or backwards?
Usually you want to keep them forward, and it discharges into the material cylinders that's sucking. Okay. If you put it in reverse, it's pulling material away from you. Okay. So in theory, you want it to roll into you. Okay. You know what I mean? But to answer your question, not necessarily. The remixer was mainly if you had a 30-minute wait between trucks. Theoretically, you could go forward, reverse, and kind of stir it up a little bit. Yeah. Or they just would have left it in forward. Forward here. Okay. You got your grease fittings here. One for the back bearing, one for the shift knuckle, 2 for either side of the agitator bearings, and then 1 for the nose bearing.
Super important.
Super important.
3, 4, 5.
Super important. Correct. Can't stress that enough.
Grease those every day, after every job.
Before you leave the job, and every 50 yards, you're going to do this.
Every 50 yards.
Every 50 yards. So theoretically, if you were doing a big job at a house slab that did 60 yards, when 50's leaving and 60's backing up, grease. Put 2 pops in every one. Okay. It takes you 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Put it right back in, keep pumping. And then before you leave the job, boom, 2 pops again. and that'll pop all the grout out.
Okay.
I'll give you a grease here. This is about the oil you want to, or the grease. Sorry. High heat, high friction.
Expensive, but it's the best.
Yeah.
It's not the cheap grease. This is expensive grease, but you want to use this kind.
Okay. And typically, a tube will last you about a week.
A week.
Mm-hmm.
Typically.
No, we can't take a picture.
No, take the whole thing, man.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sounds good.
And this is for the high temperature, high grease you're going to achieve. Now they make 83-cent grease with that black graphite, but I mean it's not going to get you nowhere, and it's going to break down before the 50 yards, and then that's going to cause a bearing failure. Let me show you what actually a bearing is. Bad, and I can almost assure you how you think. I can show you before you even know, you'll know it. So the shaft goes through, you see the sacrificial brass ring, you see the sliders, this is the grease journal. So in theory, when you grease, this has got a grease ring in it, and as the shaft's spinning, those cleats grab it and pull the grease back through the shaft.
So
now,
all this gets greased up.
All this gets greased up.
Okay.
So you notice, this is the only thing between you and the shaft in the concrete, is that rubber O-ring. Let me pull it out of there, and let you feel it, and you tell me why it went bad.
Dryness.
Yeah, feel it?
It's
flat.
Cut, yeah.
So that's what no grease did. So what it did is it finally wore that O-ring out, and now grout went straight on through and tore it out.
Este ya está dañado. Ese ya está dañado.
Esa piecita te cuesta pues $5,000 el arreglo.
So that is your bearing. It's a piece of rubber and grease. That is it. It's an effective system if you grease. If you don't grease, it doesn't do shit.
That's your problem.
Right. So that's 50 cents, but it costs you 5,000.
Yep.
Gotta grease.
Okay.
We do these all day long, and it's we've had pumps for what 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Never replaced them. No problem. But every day we get them and they're fucking up. No grease.
That's why I tell people we've sold many of these Putzmeisters, these cat creators. People will bring them over 6 months later. After we have it for 4 years. We never had any issue.
We run that 4 years. No problem.
Cuando dice que pues si no vas engrasando se le va a ir metiendo pues lo más. Pero mientras estés engrasado
no hay problema, no hay problema.
Pero ya ves que el cemento, la arenita, se le va a ir entrando la arenita al ground, para adentro.
So water, sand, and rock, and cut the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Do some damage, trust me. And a rubber O-ring will tear a steel bushing right out. I mean, rip it right in half.
Okay.
Just with sand and water.
Concrete. Well, what do you say? 75 bar?
2-inch hose.
2-inch hose.
If you got a pretty good club, 2-inch hose, 200 feet, you won't get more than about what you're seeing now.
Yeah, the wetter, the better.
Yeah.
Very dangerous, yeah.
After a while you get pumped, you gotta understand, what's actually going on.
Now, this it's operated with the remote control, so he can see it operating.
Work for that? Or no? No, right? Because over there is manually, right?
There you got it. You got it.
This remote works for a lot of machines.
Yeah.
The machine has an overheating horn. You should never hear it go off unless you broke a belt and the horn's here. And that's to tell you that the machine is overheating.
Okay.
If you should break the cooling belt over here on the other side, the temperature will go up. If it hits more than, I think it's 183, I think is the code for it. If you break the belt,
and it beeps.
The horn will start beeping. Correct. Not immediately, but when it heats up.
Yeah.
To 180.
You definitely hear it.
Yeah.
We heard it before. That thing is like a siren. Yep.
So that protects you. Now, as far as overheating on the tank, there is no warning.
No?
You just got. That's the reason why you get a gauge on it, and you got a thermometer in the center of it.
Okay.
You won't overheat unless you, like you said, if you had a 4-inch slump pushing 500 feet, you better watch out. Yeah, you're going to be overheating.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You stay around 200, 250 all day long, you're going to build heat. Because you have more heat coming in than you have expanding through the cooler.
Yeah.
But, the higher the slump, the less chance of you have a, the machine's really going to be working hard.
All right.
Shotcrete's another heat index. If you're trying to do shotcrete through 100 foot, they get pretty hot usually.
Okay.
You just kind of watch them.
Okay.
Usually I just run water over the tank, and that's more than enough. If you dump the water box and fill it back up, them cold rods that come back and forth to that cold water will cool it immediately.
That'll help.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's overheating, but you shouldn't have any heat issues. As long as you're not doing shotcrete or 1,000 feet.
No, never. I doubt.
But that's something that that's something to look at, and it gives you a gauge.
Okay. That's basically it, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
You're already a millionaire. Lay back and let it roll in. We gotta grease it.
Yeah, just grease it and always clean it. Make sure everything's right.
That is correct.
And it's just something you don't give to a normal person and say, "Here, go make me some money."
Yeah, always checking those screws before you leave them, like you said.
The bolts, correct?
Yeah, the bolts. Yeah.
You'd be surprised. 10-year operators, they've been doing it for 10 years. Hey, man, you see that lever you've been tripping over for 2 years? Yeah, pull it. Oh man, the machine runs good. You don't know. Nobody's ever showed them. Nobody's ever. You'd be surprised how many calls I got because somebody lost their piston cup in the water box. They just never check the bolts. I don't know what that is. All right, man. Well, off you go then.
Well, I gotta add something though. He's very smart. I've seen that during the demonstration. He seems to have very good memory. Every time we're showing him something, he seems to remember it. And we've done hundreds of demonstrations. And in the majority of the demonstrations, you finish the demonstration, you ask them something, and they just have no idea. So they have to refer back to the video, but you seem to remember it, so you're very smart. So you got that going for you. You got a good memory, and you seem to be a hard worker, so I think you're going to be okay.
Hopefully.
No, I'm sure, man. Otherwise, your dad is going to whip your ass.
Yeah. Oh, bueno.
You come in on dragging the pump, it's been a hell of a day, Dad. But you learn as you go. You always do,
The tank, when it's on and around, like estimate, how long would it last on a full tank?
20 gallons usually get you about 100 yards. Usually.
100 yards?
Yeah.
100
Now,
yards.
now there's a lot of variables. How far you're going in and what kind of slump you have makes
of
the
course.
engine work harder. But on the basis,
On
you'll
the average.
Yeah, you'll get 100 yards.
100 yards per tank.
I always prop to my guys, you get paid to come in, you get paid to go out. So if they leave with a full tank, they come back with a full tank. Because in a fleet, you don't know if you're necessarily going to be on that machine.
Yeah.
So you're going to only be the one operating, so you know about how many yards you can go.
Yeah.
But I would keep it full until you get 6, 7, 8 a year, under your belt, and then you pretty much got a good judge of how much fuel you need per job per day. I've heard operators tell me, hell, I went all week without filling it up. Well, that's you, there ain't nothing like having to ask the driver to steal some fuel out of his gas tank, and you're
with the water on it.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't like doing that.
Sí,
El
que lo
diesel.
aguanta como unas 100 yardas. Sí, en un estimado.
Average.
Más o menos.
Just like the hydraulic tank, there is a low part in the tank that you can drain the fuel out of if you got water in it. You shouldn't.
No creo.
They make an alcohol that you can pour right in there, and it disbands any condensation you get. I mean, it's a good thing to use it once. Yeah.
Okay.
For diesel, yeah. It's called sea foam. It works for gas or diesel. I mean, you use it in your car, your boat. You know what?
It happens rarely though.
It's rarely available at Napa. Yeah. You can get 1 or 2 gallons. You can get 5 gallons if you want. It's inexpensive. I usually dump it in there once a year.
Okay.
Just a conditioner, you know.
For all the water.
Correct, because you're constantly washing the machine
condensation,
down. It's always got water in it. You know, it's probably worse than a boat. I got this boat over here. I guarantee you that this will see more water than that boat will.
Yeah?
I guarantee you that. Hell yeah. So there's always a prone of you getting water into stuff.
Un bote al año así. Del que se absorbe el
So once a year,
agua al tanque.
you know, either drain it or put the conditioner in.
Es un condicionador, un acondicionador. All right.
Your trailer lights here for your hookup. It's just a 4-way.
Yeah.
We left the other plug here in case you had to hook it to your vehicle.
Yeah.
And then it's just a military hook, finger hook.
Yeah.
That's the best form, the truest form. There's more articulation than a 2-inch ball.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially on a job site.
Yeah.
What kind of truck are you going to be pulling it with?
I mean, we're looking to get a flatbed.
Flatbed, okay.
Flatbed, yeah.
I
Put
would-
the hoses in the back. You know?
Right. I would stay around a 250 or 350.
250 or 350.
Yeah, I wouldn't go anything lower.
No.
It'll tell the transmission.
Lower, yeah.
¿Cuánto dice que pesa? 60.
3 toneladas.
Sí, 3 toneladas.
6,000
¿Está más
cuatro-
livianita que esas?
Igual.
Es lo mismo.
Ahí
¿Qué,
sí
qué
hace-
pesan? ¿Como 7,000 libras?
Ahí
Más
ya
bien,
seis-
más bien parecida a la naranja que está ahí. Like, he's asking comparing to what pump. I would say this is comparable to the orange ones.
Yeah.
Big machine.
They'll burn your face off. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, you keep them down pumping 2-inch for so long, you think, you turn that thing up, yeah, it'll stand that 2-inch hose up like a Cobra.
Yeah?
Hell yeah. Stand it right up. 4 or 5 finishers on the end of it. In the Bahamas, that's how we pump. You just keep turning up till you see them on their tippy toes, and you know you're perfect then, you know. Just keep winding that thing up. The supervisor come by, what are you doing? I don't see them on tippy toes. All right, very good. Right.
The tippy toes. All right, I think that's about it. He's got everything. We got most information.
Ponlo que la eche él a andar como lo que él hizo.
Vamos a hacerlo ahorita,
Right.
seguro.
You don't never put the hose in further than the discharge cone. You know, because in theory, as you can see, there's a big hole where the first rubber is, but the second rubber where the cutting ring isn't. You can see right here, it'll cut a 4x4 clean in half.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure there.
Okay.
They shift it to 200 bar. That's 5,000 psi. It's shifting over, and it's clean. There's a carbide. You know, it's like a guillotine. So you never stick your hand there. You know, just to the end. And that rake was, if you seen a big chunk in there, you can put the rake in there and pull it out.
Yeah.
You don't have to put your hand there.
Yeah, never
or
put
you
your
turn
hand.
the machine fully off and you verify 0, and then you can stick your hand in there.
But still,
Make sure
Yeah.
it's...
but still, man,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
The little rake's better, huh?
Yeah,
Cheaper.
absolutely.
If you cut the rake, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut your arm.
you'll be lucky if you just tear your arm off. You'll be lucky. You usually pull your arm in.
Okay.
So just like when it's pumping and I told you to wash out the water box, you're always spraying in there. You don't put your face and your hand in there.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
that dog won't cut by, potentially grab your hand. And it'll run you right on through the cylinder too.
Okay.
You'll be lucky if it tears your arm off. You'll be lucky. Probably won't. Just make sure you stay away from all moving parts. You know what I mean? You turn the machine off, you verify 0, and then you start tightening bolts and stuff. You know.
Okay.
Alrighty.
That's it.
That's it. I like to see him operate it though.
Yeah.
Let's see how you operate this thing.
When you change the oil filter,
Every 250 engine hours.
you got half feet right there.
I think ¿Listo?
Listo.
Una.
Y mátale el poder de la batería, acuérdate.
Ah, sí.
Epa, bien. Y listo, así no acabas la pila.
Ajá, para que no se la coma la.
Exacto.
If something gets close to your frequency, it'll shut off. So it might necessarily not be anything with the system. It might be something somebody's next to your code. Usually somebody that's got one of them old Nextels or a walkie-talkie on 9 megahertz, those are usually interfere with you.
Okay.
But I've never found too much on the job. It's mostly by the airport because they're using a lot of hand radios. You know what I mean? If there's something, I'll turn the system off, turn it back on, start again. It'll start pumping and it cuts off again. I usually get about 3 times and I turn it off and tell the guys, hey, listen, I'm gonna have to go by the machine and turn it and leave it on. So then you have to stay by here.
Okay, and just do it manually.
Right, right. If you're 700 feet away, you're just gonna have to get a line of sight or have a guy flag you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but man, I mean,
Rarely
out of
happens,
10
yeah.
years, maybe 3 times, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
You know, it's the same system they use on the boom truck, so there's not too much interference.
Okay.
Usually, you used to take precedence. You know what I mean? If you got something floating to your signal and you see the guy on the radio, hey man, you turn the radio off.
Yeah.
Usually he'll do it. Oh, okay, you're right.
Okay.
Because you're only there for a half hour.
Yeah.
So so you got that.
This box, the drain, the pistons drain it out itself, right? Or how?
You just let the cord turn.
Okay,
It comes right out.
Okay.
It's a
And then
plug on the bottom.
As you lift it up, you put it in reverse, and if you look, you can actually slide it forward, so you don't have to leave your hand on it.
Okay.
See, I can let it drain all out. So then I'll put the machine in reverse, and then as it comes out from the cylinder, it washes it out.
Okay. ¿Vas entendiendo? Para que si se me olvida algo.
Todo queda aquí.
Ahí. Claro.
To block out your quarter turn valve, and what that does is it loses the signal for the S3. So it loses signal for that shift over, for the rock. The machine doesn't do what to do next. So it sits there and holds pressure until it finds the next signal. Because that S3, it runs on a mathematical, mechanical code. So when one fires 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes back to 1, 2, 3. So if it loses one in the sequence, it doesn't know what to do and stops until it sees the signal. So that's all you're doing is you're losing signal 3 before 4 and 5.
And it holds pressure though.
And it holds pressure. Over here on the main gauge, you're going to see the pressure getting built. When you say, Harold, it just won't pump. Well, let's see if it builds pressure. So you'll lock it out, you'll put it forward, with the strokes all the way up, you'll turn the machine on and let it build pressure. Well, it says 275. Well, we know the main pump's good.
Okay.
It's a split in the system somewhere, so we know now where to go. We go to the back half of it and start working our way to the pump.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just a split in the system. That's all it is. So you got on S1, this is your forward and reverse. S3 is the signal for the switchover.
Okay.
That's a lock and cock.
Yeah.
And S2 is a binary function that controls pistons.
Okay.
That's all it does. So you got 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Okay.
Hydraulic filter is in here, and all filters on the machine are at 250 hours, engine hours.
250 engine hours.
Engine hours.
Okay.
So you change this, you change the air filter, the oil, and the fuel filter.
4 filters.
All in one.
Every 250 hours.
Every machine hours, correct.
Machine hours. Yes.
Right, and you have your hour meter here.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
We use an AW46 in the hydraulic fluid.
AW46.
It's an anywhere 46.
You apply
Which
that
is
from-
this right here,
you apply
which
it
you will
right
put
there.
it in there.
Correct.
Correct.
We leave them a little low because that gives you room to expand. You don't want to fill it all the way up to the knuckle because when it expands, when it gets hot, it'll shoot off the top.
There's a level right here.
Correct.
Black line.
Right.
Okay.
And then that's your low mark here.
Okay.
Aquí yo no me quedé. ¿En qué te dice eso de la presión?
Eso dice que casi es para él, pero...
Es más que todo para los mecánicos.
Oh, para los mecánicos.
Es como una señal,
Okay.
pero como es lo que le va a mandar qué decir, pero esa como cuando un día que no esté pompeando, que le marque o algo así, ese me va a decir que la levante y haz de cuenta, le para la señal, pero sigue con la presión.
O sea, él le para la señal para que no haya, la máquina no va a tener señal de intercambio entre lado y lado. Entonces lo que el pistón va a hacer es que él va a empujar y como no tiene la señal, ¡bam!, va a construir presión. Al construir esa presión, entonces él le va a poder decir a él, hey, mire, yo tengo tanto de presión, Entonces ya Harold le dice, ok, vamos a seguir mirando el problema en otro lado, en caso de que hubiese un problema. Es más que todo para interrumpir la señal de intercambio entre los pistones.
Pero no le toca a él casi.
No, es solamente es para que él conozca qué es.
So just like in a transmission, is that your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, just like in transmission, you got a master and a slave. The master is where you fill up the reservoir, and the slave is when you press it, it pushes the fork over to release the clutch, correct? So you got a master, and you've got 6 slaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the slaves are telling the master what to do next. So as that pilot pressure comes back, there's holes, it's a diaphragm inside that brass ring, and as that piston comes down, it injects port pressure, and that return works into the master, and then the master knows numerically what number to go next. So like I said, it starts at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it goes back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it loses the signal, it doesn't know what to do, so it sits there and holds.
Okay.
It must have the signal to go to the next step.
Yes.
To do the next
Otherwise, he builds pressure up.
Yeah. And it's
Correct.
just, okay.
So that's what that quarter turn valve does. It just loses that.
And that
number
pressure,
3.
I see it on the pressure
On
valve.
the pressure
Correct.
gauge.
And we'll do this test. You can actually see it in real time for
Okay.
yourself.
Okay.
So you got the engine hours, you've got the oil, AW46, which is an anywhere 46. Theoretically, you should get 4,600 hours out of the thing. out of the oil.
4,600
This is if you clean it every year and you change your filter at 250.
every 250.
You should get 4,000 theoretically. When the oil starts turning brown and capulates, the oil's no good.
Cada 250 cambiarle todos los filtros. 250 horas de motor.
Horas de motor.
Horas de motor.
Ahí tienes tu horario.
Sí, ahí tiene la hora.
El orómetro.
Y el aceite 4000.
4600 es este aceite. Now this oil, you're not going to be replacing it all the time. This is something that you're rarely going to actually replace. So the engine oil is what you're going to be replacing, which is 5W40
10W30 on these.
or 10W30. Okay.
10W30. Okay.
And that's for a diesel motor. 10W30.
Diesel motor.
Yeah.
Okay.
We use a half synthetic on per the manufacturer. It's up to you. If you use some kind of synthetic, the engine will last a little longer. There's some theory behind that. A lot of people say, you know, the engine's already run without any synthetic for so many years. You know, this is what the manufacturer wants. This is what we put.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, like I was saying, when the oil capulates, the oil's no good. The oil's like your blood. So as long as you keep it clean, you'll do
Everything
good.
will work. Okay.
If you let it get dirty, well, what's going to take it is your heart, which is the main pump.
Okay.
It'll blow out first, guaranteed, and that's big money.
Now there's an issue with the oil which happens naturally, which is by condensation. Could you please go a little further in that?
So, like I was telling you about the packings expanding and contracting, you get moisture. The same with the tank. As it gets hot and cold, you're going to get condensation. So if the packings go bad, you're always starting to turn oil. And then as the tank gets hot and cold so many times, you get condensation that rolls down and it falls. Well, there's a low spot at the bottom of this tank.
It's right here.
Right here. And you see it's got a quarter turn valve. You can turn it off, and then you just open up the plug. Once a week.
Once a week.
Open it up.
Open it up just a little bit. Not as much as that cap full of water is on the top of your bottle. About that much every week.
So unscrew this. Open it up, and let just very little.
Just very
Come
little.
out.
Yep. That's
Plug
it.
it back up. Close
That's
it
it.
back up.
This is in the morning, not after your job, because remember the oil's hot and it sucked up the moisture. This is just like oil and water. When you shake it for salad dressing, you leave it there and you come back the next morning and they separate it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So once a
Let
week.
it separate.
Once a
Correct.
week.
And this is when it's cold.
Abrirle ahí.
Unas 5 o 6 trabajadas.
Like,
Se trabaja en la pompa.
No, well, I mean, we've seen people that never done it before. They never done it, and it's still, the pump is still okay. Now, we're just trying to be very thorough and make sure that there's no problems. Pero esto lo puedes hacer, así hagas 30 trabajadas, una vez a la semana lo haces tranquilamente y no hay problema.
que le saquen nomás
Le saque el agua porque va a quedar condensación, el tanque se enfría y se calienta, se enfría y se calienta, crea condensación, hay agua que cae, esa agua se separa, queda en el fondo, la sacas un poquito y queda limpio.
Lo explicó como leche, que se separa el agua y la leche.
Yeah, I mean, we change a lot of pumps, and he is right. I mean, we've seen a lot of water and they don't blow up, but today, tomorrow, the next week,
Exactly.
right, the water will finally get to it and blow it up. Correct.
Yep.
Because it can't compress oil, not like oil. So it spins just like in a car. You ever took an engine apart of a car? Okay, well, you got the crank and then you got the bearing. It's just two end caps that fit over a crank. The oil is your bearing. Without the oil, there's no lubrication.
Okay.
Boom, it flows.
Okay.
They don't take much. So then we're working on to our flow control. And this actually speeds and lowers the rate of the oil going to the pistons.
Okay.
Correct. So it's like a water faucet. You screw it in, slows the oil down, the flow. You screw it out, it speeds it up.
Booms out, okay.
So, lo que eso es para lo rápido que tú quieras pompear tu cemento, ¿verdad? Si tú quieres
Así
rápido,
es.
ábrele.
Así es. Now, this has no relation whatsoever with the engine.
Correct, correct. You always run the engine full out because the cooler and the cleaner run off the prof of the engine. So if you decrease the engine speed,
So even if you're pumping the very minimum, your motor's always going to be fully loaded.
Full throttle. You got it, man. You got it.
always out.
Bien acelerado.
Todo,
Siempre.
hasta si pompeas lo más mínimo, lo más poquito.
Tú aquí vas a controlar, no tu gas. Tu gas es
Si
todo.
tu gas es todo,
Siempre el full.
hasta abajo.
Yep.
Hasta abajo.
Tú vas a escuchar el sonido, vas a
It's
acostumbrarte.
a retainer just to keep it locked in.
Okay.
We'll unscrew it for you before you go.
Okay,
but
okay.
That was so you can't shut it down.
Okay, okay.
But in theory, what you do is you unscrew it, you screw it where you want it, and then you can lock it.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
your choice.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we leave them all the way out. We just screwed in manually. That was mainly designed for if the handle head broke.
Okay,
You could screw
yeah.
it with some pliers and then lock
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
But as you can see where the leaf line is, the control line going into the regulator. That's all that does is tell the pump in percentage how hard to come on.
Yeah.
100%, 80%, 10%. That's all that's doing.
Okay.
So that decreases the flow of your pump.
Mhm.
So when you, the reason why I was telling you you must rev it all the way up and volume.
Okay. Yeah.
On a Pushmeister, of course, it comes into the hopper.
Okay.
On a Schwing, it always comes to the outside.
Yeah.
So you'll see them come out. As long as you see fresh grease coming out,
You're good. Yeah.
you're good. Correct. You got some trailer bearing buddies here?
Those two.
Yeah, about every 200 miles I'd grease them.
It's a week, maybe more.
Yeah. Give them one pop.
Yeah.
Just bearing buddies, and they
Okay.
keep the grease hard on the bearing itself. If you keep them greased, they might last you, for 10,000 miles before you got to repack.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Cada 200 millas.
We use a trailer tire, that's good for 8,000 pounds. So
Yeah.
the machine doesn't, of course, weigh that much, so we kind of step it over a little bit.
How much does the machine weigh?
I think 6, 7.
Yeah, I think 6,400, I think, or something like that. You got LED submersible lights. They're good unless you stand on them, of course. So you're going to find a lot of drivers that'll climb up on them. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of watch that. You got your fuel tank here. You got fuel.
Diesel, right?
Correct. And that's your main engine, alternator, main pulley, blower. And this is your fuel pump. And this is a circuit if it breaks, you tell the fuel.
Oh, we got to make sure that this be open, right? Nothing covering it up.
Correct. That's sucking air into the engine, blowing across the heads and then down. You got your battery here.
Okay.
It's a 31C, just so you know, find on a truck trailer. Same one.
Okay.
C means, S is screw top. C is post. They're always post.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. You got your muffler up there, your antenna array for your motors, right?
Yeah.
And then the air cleaner.
Okay.
And then if you, on the other side, you can expose the air cleaner. You just unscrew it, and it's a Donaldson. They made these for 1,000 here. You unscrew it, there's a main filter in it.
Okay.
Cylinder. Pull it out.
This right here is your choke.
I guess,
main
yeah.
Kill.
Yeah.
Main kill.
Okay.
So if you start the engine up, you kill it manually. Deutsch didn't come out with a fuel cutoff till about 99.
Okay.
So everything was manual. And then you just got a straight battery kill. This kills all power off the battery.
All power.
Right. So,
This always stays straight up.
well, when you're in the storing position, down.
Okay.
And that kills all power.
Okay.
When you lift it up, you got main battery.
Okay.
Just takes the pressure off the battery. Somebody comes by and leaves your key on overnight or something, because it's got a fuel pump, fill your battery.
Okay.
So you have any questions?
No.
All right, let's see it.
So when turning it off, you don't gotta make sure this is all the way closed.
No.
turning it off.
When you turn it off, the machine just stops.
Just make sure this is always in neutral when you turn it off.
Correct.
And then off.
And then leave it off. Right.
Off.
And that just keeps the pressure off the S1. That's
Okay.
all. You can leave it on there, but after a while, it'll wear out the S1 spool, and you'll feel the handle get real sloppy.
Okay.
After a while, leave the pressure off of it.
All right.
I mean, a good rule of thumb. I mean, you know, you can do anything you want. You'll be seeing me real soon.
Yeah.
Like that. You
All
know,
right.
If it's asked for $5,000 bill. The main thing is the grease in the water.
Okay, clean up.
Don't dry stroke it. Right. Those hurts the machine. Drain your water.
So you said this grease, you just apply it straight onto you?
No. This is just for my assembly. When I put it together, the first stroke isn't dry.
Okay. But I never have to put grease on this. Right?
No.
You gotta make sure there's water in it.
Okay.
Water takes the place of the grease.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Correct. This is if you're going to do some tests at the house or whatever, you want to play with it at the house, make sure both are filled.
Okay.
The hot
okay.
whopper.
Okay, I got you.
The hopper and the water bottle.
Okay, I got you.
And that way you're not ripping the rust.
Okay.
That's the kidney seal. So one hole to the other.
This is what slides from side to side.
Correct. And you feel it just a piece of rubber.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are compression release.
Okay.
When you wear them releases out, that's it. There's a steel backing behind that, and then that steel digs into the mirror plate. So you wipe them both out
Okay.
before you know it.
And this over time, of course, just damages itself little by little, right?
If you dry stroke it, if it's got concrete in it, no, it'll last the length of the mirror plate and the cutting room.
Okay.
If you don't dry stroke.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, you see guys out there in the job site, boom, just giving a hell. Whoa. You can do that at your machine. Don't do it on mine. You know, it'll screw me up.
Yeah.
Back to the safety nut off, where you got control of it.
¿Me vas entendiendo?
¿Esto para qué es?
Ah, eso nomás se lo ponen ellos como para
Para seguridad.
seguridad. Pues eso se lo ponían antes porque si se te quebraba esto con los pinches lo podías de vuelta. Asegurar que... Ok. Entonces nomás se lo pone para que se lo puedes poner a
una velocidad.
a una velocidad y ahí queda.
Oh, okay.
Correct. If you were, this would be if you were leaving it on the job site and you're doing a big job.
You don't want more.
Right. You lock it down every day. You screw it to where you want it and you lock it down, and that's where it stays.
Okay.
Nobody can come by and, you pump man, what's wrong?
Yeah. Esta te corta toda la pila.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I think he's got it. I think he's got it.
You know, you're gonna fall a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah, of
For
course,
sure.
of course, of course.
But it's all about how you fall and get back up. You know what I mean? I mean, you're not gonna. And concrete's funny. You might go 2 weeks after you get this machine and not plug once. But then when you do plug, what are you gonna do? You know, you just gotta kind of remember your steps. You know?
Okay.
Feel on the hose, back the
course.
machine off, because you could be busting the hose loose. You don't want that pressure build up and blow up in your face when you take that clamp off. Correct?
Yeah.
So put it in reverse, one stroke.
Put it in reverse.
You don't have to stroke it a bunch of times, just once.
Up, reverse, down, forward.
Correct. And just turn the machine on, turn it right back off. Bust that clamp loose, shake both ends out. You'll see the sand fall out.
Or you might get some rock and he might need a sledgehammer too.
And back up.
True,
Yeah.
True. Depends on how hard you plug.
Yeah.
You leave it on for 30 seconds. What? Ooh, plug good now. You're gonna need a hand.
Okay. Yeah.
But as you're pumping, you're watching the gauge. Boom. Boom. Turn it off. Go find the plug. You're not gonna force it out. Oh, you can, but you're gonna hurt somebody.
Okay.
You know, you'll blow the hose up, kill somebody, hit them with a clamp in the face.
Okay. So, but when it plugs up, don't turn this off though, right?
Yeah, turn it off.
Turn this off
Turn it off.
and put this in reverse.
Put that in reverse and then turn it back on.
Okay.
Let it stroke one
Okay.
time, turn it back off, put it in forward, go out there and find your plug.
Okay. I got you.
So all this switch is just turning the actuator on and off.
Okay.
The command is in forward. Turn the actuator pump on and pump off. You understand?
Yeah.
Just an actuator.
The engine's still on. We're just.
Correct.
Yeah, I got you.
The command is in forward. The
Yeah.
command is in reverse.
Yeah, I got you.
So if you lost a switch, then the command is the handle. Boom, 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 or reverse. It's if you lost the power.
Okay.
Or if you just left it, if you left it on all the time, you can come here, neutral, reverse, neutral, forward, neutral, reverse.
Yeah. Okay.
It's up to you. I like being back there because I can watch concrete come out of the end.
Okay.
I have a chute. See a big rock, big piece of plate. Because the small surface is going to be the reducer. It's going to go 5 to 3 real quick. Boom, it'll slam right there.
The rock just
Right.
up right.
Right. So if I see it come out, I can pick it up and throw it. I can keep going. You
Yeah.
got to stop. You know, man, come on, pump man, what are you?
Yeah.
Killing me out here. You're stopping every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's the driver. They don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
You know, come on, do something. So you're just saying, you know, that's why I like to switch there. You know, you look at it.
Boom,
You know?
boom.
So Ready to get fired up?
Let's do it.
I'm
You
gonna
ready to
get
blow
out.
something up?
Y cuando pones primer, a este le
Ahí va. De la mano. Durísimo. Son 4.000 pesos de presión. Es como una presión básica. Dale cuidado. Ya le digo. Reversa no hay nada, obviamente. Ahora está en reversa.
Ahí está de reversa.
Por eso no hay- Funciona bueno, ¿no? Tiene fuerza. Tiene 2.000 pesos de presión. He was asking, normally what would you see on the PSI of the bars on this when you pump in regular concrete? What do you say, 75 bar?
2-inch hose.
2-inch hole.
If you got a really good club, 2-inch hose, 200 feet, you won't get more than about what you're seeing now.
Yeah, the wetter, the better.
Yeah.
Double that. So it's enough to put that clamp around your neck. You won't make it to the hospital, trust me. You won't. So just be careful. You always release all pressure before you go pick something up. Verify zero on the case. You know what I mean? You can do that with water. It's dangerous, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very dangerous, yeah. Now, it's operated with the remote control, so he can see it operating.
Work for that? Or no? No, right? Because over there manually, right?
Hey, you got it. You got it.
This remote works for a lot of machines.
Yeah.
The machine has an overheating horn. You should never hear it go off unless you broke a belt and the horn's here, and that's to tell you that the machine is overheating.
Okay.
If you should break the cooling belt over here on the other side, the temperature go up. If it hits more than, I think it's 183, I think is the code for it. If you break the belt,
and it beeps.
the horn will start beeping. Correct. Not immediately, but when it heats up.
Yeah.
To 180.
You definitely hear it.
Yeah.
We heard it before. That thing is like a siren. Yep.
So that protects you. Now, as far as overheating on the tank, there is no warning.
No?
You just got. That's the reason why you get a gauge on it, and you got a thermometer in the center of it.
Okay.
You won't overheat unless you, like you said, if you had a 4-inch slump pushing 500 feet, you better watch out. Yeah, you're going to be overheating.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You stay around 200, 250 all day long, you're going to feel heat. Because you have more heat coming in than you have expanding through the cooler.
Yeah.
But you know, the higher the slump, the less chance of you have a. You know, the machine's really going to be working hard.
All right.
Shotcrete's another heat index. You know, if you're trying to do shotcrete through 100 foot, you know they get pretty hot usually.
Okay.
You just gotta kind of watch them.
Okay.
Usually I just run water over the tank, and that's more than enough. If you dump the water box and fill it back up, them cold rods that come back and forth to that cold water will cool it immediately.
That'll help.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's overheating, but you shouldn't have any heat issues. I mean, as long as you know you're not doing shotcrete or 1,000 feet.
No, never. I doubt.
But that's something that that's something to look at, and it gives you a gauge.
Okay. That's basically it, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
You're already a millionaire. Lay back and let it roll in. We gotta grease it.
Yeah, just grease it and always clean it. Make sure everything's right.
That is correct.
And I mean, it's just something you don't give to a normal person and say, "Here, go make me some money."
Yeah, always checking those screws before you leave them, like you said.
The bolts, correct?
Yeah, the bolts. Yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised. 10-year operators, they've been doing it for 10 years. Hey, man, see that lever you've been tripping over for 2 years? Yeah, pull it. Oh man, the machine runs good. I mean, you don't know, I mean, nobody's ever showed them. Nobody's ever, You'd be surprised how many calls I got because somebody lost their piston cup in the water box. You know what I mean? They never checked the bolts. Yeah. I don't know what that is. All right, man. Well, off you go then.
Well, I gotta add something though. He's very smart. I've seen that during the demonstration. He seems to have very good memory. Every time we're showing him something, he seems to remember it. And we've done hundreds of demonstrations. And in the majority of the demonstrations, you finish the demonstration, you ask them something, and they just have no idea. Yeah. So they have to refer back to the video. But you seem to remember it, so you're very smart. So you got that going for you. You got a good memory, and you seem to be a hard worker. So I think you're gonna be okay.
Hopefully.
No, I'm sure, man. Otherwise, your dad is gonna whip your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, bueno.
You come in on dragging the pump, it's been a hell of a day, Dad. But you learn as you go. You always do.
The tank, when it's on and around, like estimate how long would it last on a full tank?
20 gallons usually get you about 100 yards. Usually.
100 yards?
Yeah.
100
Now,
yards.
there's a lot of variables. How far you're going in and what kind of slump you have makes
of
the
course.
the engine work harder. But on the basis,
On
you'll
the average.
Yeah, you'll get 100 yards.
100 yards per tank.
I always prop to my guys, you get paid to come in, you get paid to go out. So if they leave with a full tank, they come back with a full tank. Because you, in a fleet, you don't know if you're necessarily going to be on that machine.
Yeah.
So you're going to only be the one operating, so you know about how many yards you can go.
Yeah.
But I would keep it full until you get 6, 7, 8 a year, under your belt, and then you've pretty much got a good judge of how much fuel you need per job per day. Okay. I've heard operators tell me, hell, I went all week without filling it up. Well, that's you, I mean, there ain't nothing like having to ask the driver to steal some fuel out of his gas tank, and you're
with the water on it.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't like doing that.
tanque de diésel, ¿no?
Sí,
¿El
que lo
diésel?
aguanta como unas 100 yardas. Ah, sí, en un estimado.
Uh-huh.
Más o menos.
Just like the hydraulic tank, there is a low part in the tank that you can drain the fuel out of if
Okay.
you got water in
No,
it.
no tiene
You
medidor
shouldn't.
del diésel, ¿verdad?
No, no creo.
Mm-mm.
They make an alcohol that you can pour right in there, and it disbands any condensation you get. I mean, it's a good thing to use it
From the
once.
tank?
Yeah,
Okay.
for diesel. Yeah. It's called sea foam. It works for gas or diesel. I mean, you use it in your car, your boat. You know what?
It happens rarely though.
It's readily available
Yeah.
at Napa. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get 1 or 2 gallons. You can get 5 gallons if you want. It's
Yeah.
inexpensive. I usually dump it in there once a year,
Okay.
just a conditioner. You know.
For all the water.
Correct, because you're
The
constantly washing the
condensation,
sheet down.
yeah.
It's always got water in it. You know, it's probably worse than a boat. I got this boat over here. I guarantee you that this will see more water than that boat will.
Yeah?
I guarantee you that. Hell yeah. So there's always a prone of you getting water in the stuff.
Un bote al año así. Del que se absorbe el
So once a year,
agua al tanque.
you know,
Okay.
either drain it or put the conditioner in.
Es un
Yeah.
condicionador, un acondicionador. All
So
right.
Your trailer lights here for your hookup. It's just a 4-way.
Yeah.
We left the other plug here in case you had to hook it to your vehicle.
Yeah.
And then it's just a military hook, single hook.
Yeah.
That's the best form, the truest form. There's more articulation than a 2-inch ball,
Yeah. I mean,
especially on a job site.
Yeah.
What kind of truck are you going to be pulling it with?
I mean, we're looking to get a flatbed.
Flatbed, okay.
Flatbed, yeah.
I
Put
would-
the hoses in the back. You know?
Right. I would stay around a 250 or 350.
250 or 350.
Yeah, I wouldn't go anything lower.
No.
It'll tear the transmission.
Lower, yeah.
¿Cuánto dice que pesa? 60.
3 toneladas.
Sí, 3 toneladas.
6,000
¿Está más
cuatro-
livianita que esas? No.
Igual.
Es lo mismo.
Ya.
Ahí
¿Qué,
sí
qué
hace.
pesa? ¿Como 7,000 libras?
Ahí
Más
ya
bien,
seis-
más bien parecida a la naranja que está ahí. Like, he's asking comparing to what pump. I would say this is comparable to the orange ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big machine.
They'll burn your face off. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, you keep them down pumping 2-inch for so long, you think, just you turn that thing up, yeah, it'll stand the 2-inch hose up like a Cobra.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Stand it right up. 4 or 5 finishers on the end of it. In the Bahamas, that's how we pump. You just keep turning up till you see them on their tippy toes, and you know you're perfect then, you know. Just keep winding that thing up. The supervisor come by, what are you doing? I don't see them on tippy toes. All right, very good. Right.
The tippy toes. All right, I think that's about it. He's got everything. We got most information.
Ponlo que la eche él a andar como lo que él hizo.
Clean up.
Vamos a hacerlo ahorita,
Right, right.
seguro.
You don't never put the hose in further than the discharge cone. Because in theory, because that, as you can see, there's a big hole where the
Yeah.
first rubber is, but the second rubber where the cutting ring isn't. You can see right here, it'll cut a 4x4 clean in half.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure there.
Okay.
They shift it to under water. That's 5,000 psi. It's shifting over, and it's clean. There's a carbide. It's like a guillotine. So you never stick your hand there. Just to the end. And that rake was if you seen a big chunk in there, you can put the rake in there and pull it out.
Yeah.
You don't have to put your hand there.
Yeah, never
or you
put your
turn the
hand.
machine fully off and you verify 0, then you can stick your hand in there.
But still,
Make sure.
Yeah.
It's,
but still, man,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
the little rake's better, huh?
Yeah,
Cheaper. If
absolutely.
you cut the rake, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut your arm.
you'll be lucky if you just tear your arm off. You'll be lucky. You usually pull you on it.
Okay.
So just like when it's pumping and I told you to wash out the water box, you're always spraying in there. You don't put your face and your hand in there.
Yeah,
You know
okay.
what I mean? That dog bone could bite, potentially grab your hand, and it'll run right on through the cylinder too.
Okay.
You'll be lucky if it tears your arm off. You'll be lucky. Probably won't. Just make sure you stay away from all moving parts. You know what I mean? You turn the machine off, you verify 0, and then you start tightening bolts and stuff.
Okay.
Alrighty.
That's it.
That's it. I like to see him operate it though.
Yeah.
Let's see how you operate this thing.
When do you change the oil filter?
Every 250 engine hours.
You got half feet right there.
Don't forget to subscribe. Also, you can go to our website, liveequipment.com, and you can see a complete list of equipment we have available for sale. or just keep navigating through this channel. Have a great day.